Welcome viewers to this is a course on principles of management. I am Dr. Usha Lenka, Associate Professor, Department of Management Studies, IIT Roorkee. The course Principles of Management is a fundamental course which gives an overview of what is management. It discusses various theories of management, principles and the concepts of management for learning higher level courses. So, the content of the course is why there is a need for management, basically who are managers, managerial levels, what is management, what do managers do, what are the various functions, roles and skills, how managers job is changing over a period of time, where managers work, that means the organizations, the definitions. We will also discuss about why do we study management, universality and cost and rewards of being manager. So, this course basically we will be discussing about the contemporary business situation and need for management, nature and purpose of management. Further, we will discuss on concepts of efficiency and effectiveness, managers functions, classification, roles and skills, values of studying management. Learning outcomes are basically we will be learning who the managers are, how managers differ from non-managerial employees, describe and classify managers in organizations, what is management, definition, explain why efficiency and effectiveness are important in management. Further, we will be also discussing what are functions of managers, Mintzberg's roles of managers and Ka's 3 essential management skills and how these skills are changing depending on managerial levels. The roles of managers, traditional versus contemporary business environment. The business environment in the traditional organization was almost stable with monopoly of companies, whereas in the contemporary business environment, the business itself, the business environment is highly dynamic. Dynamic because the rate of change is very fast, there are too many competitors and there is complexity in the business environment caused by external factors like political, economic, socio-demographic factors, legal factors, technology, changing technology, which has resulted in changing preferences of customers. So, the business environment is highly dynamic and there are changes in the roles of managers. Of course, the fundamental principles of management and the roles of managers still remain the same with a little change in focus. What are characteristics of contemporary business environment? Contemporary business environment as discussed now is turbulent and demand for continuous change, because in order to maintain continuity and rigor, the organizations need to make some minor modifications in their business processes, in their structure, and it has to be in conformance with the changing business environment. Uncertainty and unexpected events. There are sudden crises which emerge in the environment or which results in organizations failing in their initiatives. So, as a result, there are some unexpected events which need to be managed and which results the unexpected events or uncertainty or the turbulence in business environment causes crisis like situations which need to be properly managed at regular intervals of time, otherwise the organization will face turmoil. Technological advancement. In order to catch up with competition, the organizations also need to make some minor modifications or a complete change in their technology. Global economic, political and social shift. Similarly, because of economic factors, because of political issues and socio-demographical shift, there is a change in the business environment. Finding alternative ways of working is the role of a manager. Manager has to find out alternative solutions or methods of decision making in order to maintain sustainability or in order to have a sustainable business. Lifelong learning opportunities for employees. An organization will always continue to grow if it has a focus on lifelong learning opportunities for employees as well as when there is a overall development of organization. Fostering creativity and innovation at workplace. No organization can sustain and survive in a turbulent business environment or in a dynamic business environment unless and until there is a focus on creativity and innovation. Creating a collaborative and productive workforce. So, organizations can sustain and survive if there is competition through collaboration. Unlike the traditional business organizations where there was monopoly and dominance of few organizations. So, in a clutter of competition, if there is collaboration, partnership or then the organization, collaboration with organizations, collaboration with competitors, suppliers, then the organization can have a competitive or can be more competitive and sustainable. So, there is a shifting focus in management from mainstream orientation to multi-stream orientation. Mainstream approach focuses on profit maximization, whereas multi-stream orientation emphasizes on responsibility towards all stakeholders. The definition of management, nature and purpose. Management involves coordinating and overseeing the work activities of others, other employees, so that their activities are completed efficiently and effectively. The process of designing and maintaining an environment in which individuals working together in groups efficiently accomplish their goals and objectives. So, ultimately management emphasizes on creating an environment, a conducive environment for all employees who are working as independently or who are working in groups or teams, so that they can collectively accomplish desired objectives of organizations. Basic definition of management. As managers, people carry out managerial functions. The basic functions of management are planning, organizing, staffing, leading and controlling. Management applies to all kinds of organizations, be it a profit centered organization or a non-profit organization. Profit centered organizations are the business organizations with an ultimate objective of earning huge amount of profit. Non-profit organizations, their emphasis is on providing better services, need satisfaction of people. It applies to all managers at all organizational levels. The aim of managers is the same, to create surplus. Managing is concerned with productivity, which implies effectiveness and efficiency. Next, we discuss on the objectives of management, that is efficiency and effectiveness. What is efficiency? The main prime concern of managers is always to have efficiency and effectiveness. Efficiency emphasizes on doing things right, getting the most output for the least input. That means, efficiency emphasizes on optimum utilization of resources. Resources for organizations can be physical or can be the physical resources like land, capital, machinery, and there could be the resources like intangible resources like customer satisfaction or could be quality and so on. Efficiency emphasizes on getting those things right and effectiveness emphasizes on doing things right. Efficiency emphasizes on means and effectiveness emphasizes on the end results. Doing things in a right manner. Effectiveness means attaining the desired objectives or goals. That means getting the goals done on a timely manner, achieving the satisfaction level of customers, employees and so on. Objectives of management. Efficiency emphasizes on resource utilization and effectiveness emphasizes on goal attainment. So, their focus is different. The efficiency's focus is on low wastage or optimum utilization of resources. Effectiveness emphasizes on attainment of goals. So, both of them together they get management, the low resource waste or high efficiency, high goal attainment or high effectiveness. Next, we discuss who are managers. Managers are someone who can coordinate and oversee the work of other employees so that organizational goals can be accomplished. The goals could be qualitative goals, quantitative goals in terms of productivity, profit, So, quantitative goals can be attained. Similarly, qualitative goals which are very subjective in nature, like satisfaction of employees, satisfaction of customers, and then quality, attainment of excellence or quality in the products and services. Managers have status, they tell others what to do, they attain power, or they exercise power, they earn more money than the workers, they influence or have a chance to make difference in other people's lives. The managers are classified as first line managers, middle managers and top managers. First line managers are individuals who manage the work of non-managerial employees or the workers. They supervise the work of workers or non-managerial employees or the staff. Middle managers are individuals who manage the work of first line managers. Top managers are individuals responsible for making organization wide decisions and establishing plans and goals to influence the entire performance of organizations. Where managers work for organizations, and organizations are defined as a deliberate arrangement of people to accomplish some specific purpose that individuals independently could not accomplish. So, organization is defined as a collection of individuals or a group of individuals working for a well defined purpose or distinct purpose in a deliberate structure. Common characteristics of organizations, they have a distinct purpose composed of people and have a deliberate structures. So, with complexity, the organization's nature and the business environment has changed and the structure does not remain intact. The structure changes from taller hierarchical structure to a flatter structure. Tall hierarchical structures have decision making bestowed with the top management, flatter structures have decisions being given to decision making power bestowed to people at different hierarchical levels. So, there is more of empowerment in a new structure or in contemporary organizational structures. Whereas, contemporary in the traditional organizations, the structure is more power at the top management. So, this has changed the structure of organization, the nature of organization. The purpose of organization also does not remain the same. With the passage of time, as we have seen, the organizations move towards more complexity. So, the purpose in the beginning of when the organization starts, the organization is in the initiation stage. As it moves towards growth phase, their purpose changes, and when it moves towards stability, there is a different purpose, and when the organization faces crisis like situation, the organization's purpose or goal changes and its focus is towards reorganization or restructuring. Managerial levels, there are three different levels of managers. Organizational generally have levels of top managers, middle managers and first line managers. The three approaches to define what managers do: the functions they perform, roles they play, skills they need. First approach, functions that managers perform: planning, organizing, directing and controlling. Planning means defining goals and objectives. Goals as already defined, goals of an organization could be qualitative and quantitative goals. Quantitative goals are objective goals of organizations. Qualitative goals are basically subjective in nature. Establishing strategies. Quantitative goals are profit, productivity, turnover and so on. Qualitative goals are quality, quality in the products and services, quality of products and services, satisfaction of needs and so on. So, planning basically deals with its goal directed, defining goals, establishing strategies to achieve those goals, developing plans to integrate and coordinate activities. To attain these goals, objective and subjective goals, there are certain strategies or plans of actions. Strategies are otherwise the plans of actions developed by managers, how they can attain these goals. Next is developing plans to integrate and coordinate activities. The plans of actions like how to attain those goals. Organizing basically deals with deliberating structures. Arrangement, the structures as discussed earlier, whether the organization will have a tall hierarchical structure or a flatter structure. Will be decided by the managers. Arrangement of task, who should be given what type of responsibility, and based on the skills and competencies, levels of expertise of an individual will be decided in the organizing function to accomplish organizational goals. Leading function deals with people, dealing with or motivating people to act as per the goals of organizations, working with and through people to accomplish those goals. Basically, leading function discusses about how managers can motivate subordinates through communication, by motivating them through rewards and punishment structure, and allocating or constantly giving them some kind of training so that they can work as per the plans. Controlling function focuses on achieving desired results, monitoring activities to ensure that the goals are the managers, the subordinates accomplish the goals as planned. So, monitoring function basically deals with the control over people and information. The information. Management functions basically planning and decision making, emphasizes on setting the organization's goals and deciding how best to achieve them. What is the best possible way through which we can attain objectives. Organizing determines how the best group activities and resources can how to attain the group activities and resources. Leading function motivating members of the organization to work in best interest of the organization. Controlling emphasizes on monitoring and correcting ongoing activities to facilitate goals. There is a feedback control and a feed forward control. So, control mechanism emphasizes on the corrective the plans or the giving a feedback to each method or each manager or subordinate regarding the methods regarding how to correct the ongoing activities. So, management involves basically planning and decision making, organizing, leading and controlling. Solid arrows show a basic sequence of activities. Dotted arrows show that most managers engage in more than one activity at a time and often move back and forth between the activities in unpredictable ways. So, though this planning, organizing, directing and controlling, they are sequential, however, the managers can move backward and forward in any of these management functions. Planning function basically identifying organizational goals and strategies at the time of strategic change or fine tuning. As we know that an organization, taking an example, say as an organization moves through various phases of life cycle stages. So, if I plot it like when an organization starts a new organization, so initiation stage is the stage 1. In the second stage you can call it as a growth stage. The third stage is basically maturity or saturation, and next is decline. So, in the initiation stage there is a different goal is to venture new market. venture in a market which is new. With the strategy, the goal is to have to be known in the market. Goal is to be known in the market. The next goal is, as the organization does well and grows in new market, growth stage with more products and services, more products and new services offered to customers, venturing in, expanding in different businesses, expand in different businesses. Maturity stage, when the market is almost mature, here there are many competitors, more competitors, no variety, no variety in products and services, or so almost it is a mature, or there is a so the company is in a mature state and then it declines. In the decline stage, the company faces crisis like situation, crisis. So, there are several issues. Crisis can be due to external factors, sudden emergence of, say, some sudden emergency like situation, or can be result of internal issues like leadership change, change in technology and so on. So, the reasons of crisis could be different in all these cases. So, what I wanted to discuss, planning function, identifying organizational goals. So, manager need to identify what is the goal of an organization in each stage of growth, and strategies are decided accordingly at the time of strategic change and fine tuning. When there is a change, when the company is venturing in a new market, at that time the company has to develop new strategies. The strategy should be to be known in the market. So, the product, there should be more emphasis on the product, the product's attributes as well as the features to be known to the customers, to be known in the market. Fine tuning, when the company is in mature state, when it has already been established, the company has acquired a brand name, a brand loyal customers. So, there the emphasis should not be, the emphasis here the customers, the company has acquired brand name, there is the corporate identity is established, corporate identity as well as its customer base is well known. So, here the emphasis should be to the plans or strategies would be completely different. There should be more focus on innovation, should be focused, innovation or cost minimization should be the focus. There is more investment in research and development. The strategy should be innovation and emphasis should be on R&D. The emphasis should be on market research. So, that is how the company need to always, the planning function changes with period of time, identifying goals and strategies at the time of strategic change. When the company faces there is sudden emergency or like situation or sudden emergence of crisis, like what has happened in case of, the crisis could be due to the product failure, like in case of Nestle's Maggi. In India, there was an issue of MSG content in the product, So, as a result, there was a huge decline in demand of the product. The product was unfit for consumption. So, there was a massive rejection and people could not take, people did not buy the product. So, there was a crisis like situation, the company had a different plan. The first plan was the strategy was to communicate to the customers that the product is good enough to be bought, the product need to be the product is fit and without any MSG content. So, this the emphasis is not on research and development, but emphasis is on communication. So, the planning changes as per the change in goals, as per the change in goals and change in the strategy of an organization. Strategic change, fine tuning. When the company is in a mature stage, the company is facing challenges from other competitors. The competitors are coming up with innovations. So, therefore, they have to catch up with competition, they have to innovate or invest in research and development, so that they can offer new products, new services in order to gain attention of customers. Managers call meetings and set agendas, and while in order to attain these goals, so managers call meetings and set agendas regarding what will be discussed. In order to attain these goals and in order to meet with these strategies or plans of actions, managers call meetings, set agendas with their subordinates regarding what will be discussed. Communicate departmental goals. They need to, because any plan, in order to accomplish any goal or the plans, it has to be discussed with the departmental, the other employees of the department, to the subordinates. So, communication is very important. Communicate departmental goals or the work unit goals to the people who are working with them, strategies to the people or the employees who interact with the customers and suppliers. So, the departmental goals or the work unit goals need to be communicated to those employees who have been interacting with the customers, the suppliers, in order to make them in order to convey the message to the employees, to the customers and the suppliers. Designing and encouraging change and innovation. So, encouraging change and innovation is also one of the goals of managers. Negotiating and making incremental changes or fine tuning to ongoing plans and resources. So, concludingly, planning function is making goals and objectives clearer to all employees, making strategies or plans which so as to match with strategic change, to catch up with competition, fine tuning, or making incremental changes to ongoing plans and resources. Sometimes it is also, all these goals need to be communicated to managers. Designing and encouraging change and innovation, communicating departmental goals and strategies to people who interact with customers, and negotiating and conflict resolution, making incremental changes to ongoing plans and resources. Next, we discuss about organizing functions. Organizing basically is arrangement of tasks within a well defined structure. So, here the emphasis is on structure, authority relationship, departmentalization, technology used, physical layout, office space, budgets, policies, resource allocation. Structure is can be, as discussed, structure can be a tall hierarchical structure with power at the center, or the flatter structure will have power bestowed at different hierarchical levels. So, structures are basically alignment of task or arrangement of task. Authority is the power given to people based on the positions. Departmentalization is division based on the principle of division of labor. Technology used as per the goals, physical layout, office space, budgets, policies and resource allocation. Leading function emphasizes on interpersonal relationship, communicate with members or interpersonal communication, encouraging and motivating members, resolve interpersonal conflicts, face to face interaction, staff training, liaising and establishing network of relationship with competitors, suppliers and customers. Leading is basically when a group of people working under a supervisor, in order to make them or to motivate them to work according to the goals which have been as planned in the planning function. So, people need to be communicated about the goals. A group of people will have several issues, the issues related to their egos and personality clashes. So, they need to have to, in order to motivate them to work for a common goal, they need to be resolved of all kinds of personal issues. The interpersonal communication plays a massive role. Developing a trust or an environment of camaraderie is required. So, leader's role lies with how to motivate people, communicate about the work unit's goal, resolving conflicts within members through face to face interaction, encouraging face to face interaction, staffing, allocating tasks and training to the employees to improve their efficiency and effectiveness, licensing and establishing or developing a kind of network of relationship with the competitors, suppliers and customers is the major emphasis of leading function. Controlling ensures members' actions are consistent. They are consistent with organization's values and standards. They are also consistent with the organization's purpose or goal, and controlling function emphasizes on controlling the behavior of people and monitoring information. Use of rules. There are several rules and regulations, policies and procedures which are used to control the behavior of or control or monitor the function of managers, to control the behavior of managers. Control over internal and external informations. There are several informations which creep into organizations through various media. So, information reaching getting the right information to the right person is the job of the manager who is exercising controlling function. Organizations are moving from bureaucratic to less of bureaucracy or more of say participative approach. So, bureaucratic functions, there is more of emphasis on managers exercising control over the subordinates, and in a participative culture, participation, there is equal weightage given to all employees or consensus based culture. Market control is observation, interaction, questioning. Clan control is shared values, norms and beliefs. So, controlling function ensures that members' actions are consistent with the values, norms of organizations, the standards set by the organizations, and the basic purpose is to control information and people, through use of rules, regulations, policies and procedures, controlling internal and external information, using bureaucratic control, market control through observation, interaction, questioning, and clan control by having a culture of shared values, norms and beliefs. So, what we have discussed today, we discussed who a manager is, and then we discussed the managerial role, we discussed about the basic functions of management, that is planning, organizing, directing and controlling. So, overall we discussed about what is management, why there is a need for management and how the goals of an organization changes and how the manager's functions changes over a period of time. With this we conclude the lecture here. Thank you.